New York City was wrapped in a cold, gloomy, rain-soaked afternoon. Dark clouds hovered over the skyline as if setting the backdrop for a sad, forgotten tale. Thick raindrops poured down relentlessly, hitting streets, cars, rooftops, and the hurried footsteps of pedestrians. The city's usual sparkle had blurred behind the curtain of rain. People rushed forward, lifting umbrellas, or whatever they could find, to shield themselves from the storm. Amid this downpour, a thin 22-year-old young man was running as fast as he could. His name was Eric. In his hand he held an old but sturdy umbrella, gripping it with great care. To him, this umbrella was not merely protection from the rain. It was his mother's last memory, something he had treasured deeply since her passing. Life had never been easy for Eric. His father had died when he was a child, and his mother raised him through years of hardship. When she passed away too, he was left alone to stand on his own feet. He worked at a small restaurant in the city center, and from his modest salary he paid for his college tuition. He knew that if he arrived even a few minutes late today, his shift would be given to someone else, and he could not afford to lose that day's wage. The rain was fierce. The wind was cold. His jacket was soaked. Still he kept moving, until suddenly his eyes fell on an elderly woman standing at a street corner. She looked over 70. To protect herself from the rain, she had placed a small plastic bag over her head. But how long could such a flimsy thing keep the water out? Her clothes were drenched. Her white hair clung to her forehead. Her hands trembled with cold. People walked past her as if she were invisible. Not a single person paused to look at her, let alone help. In this fast-paced city, who had the time to stop and care? Eric slowed down, then stopped. A battle began inside his heart. If I help her, I'll be late for work. But she looks so helpless. The job is important, but this woman... Suddenly he remembered his grandmother, who always told him, "Son, a good deed never goes unrewarded." That single memory pushed Eric to make his decision. He turned back, walked toward the woman, and stopped in front of her. Softly he said, "Please take this umbrella, you're completely soaked." The elderly woman looked up, startled. Her eyes were a mixture of exhaustion, pain, and surprise. "No, child, how can I take your umbrella? You'll get drenched." Eric smiled gently. "I'm almost at work. You walk slowly. I'll be fine." He extended the umbrella toward her. She hesitated, thought for a few seconds, then finally took it. Gratitude slowly filled her face, gratitude that had been buried under years of loneliness and hardship. "God bless you, son. Goodness never goes to waste." Eric heard her words, but little did he know that this simple moment would one day change the entire direction of his life. He reached the restaurant soaked and shivering, but with a strange warm feeling in his heart. Years went by. Eric continued to work, study, struggle, and grow. After graduating, he got a job at a construction firm. Later he met Amy, kind-hearted, soft-spoken, and full of warmth. They married, and a few years later, a daughter named Sophia entered their lives. Life was still not easy. Bills, rent, expenses. But their home was filled with love and peace. Amy would often say, "We may be poor, but we're happy because our hearts are clean." And Eric always replied, "Yes, goodness never goes unrewarded." Time moved on. One day, Eric received a strange letter. "You are required to appear regarding an inheritance matter." He was confused. He had no wealthy relatives. Why would someone leave him anything? At first he thought it was a scam, but the uncertainty bothered him, so he eventually went to the lawyer's office. A senior lawyer greeted him with a gentle smile. "Mr. Eric, please sit. I have important news for you." Eric sat down nervously. "Do you remember giving your umbrella to an elderly woman in the rain, about 20 years ago?" Eric's lips curled into a surprised smile. "Yes, I remember it very clearly. But what does that have to do with inheritance?" The lawyer opened a file, adjusted the papers, and said, "That woman, Margaret, she passed away recently. And she left her house, her land, her garden, everything, to you." Eric froze. "What? But I only..." The lawyer completed the thought for him. "You only gave her an umbrella. But sometimes a small act changes someone's life so deeply that they never forget it." Eric sat silently as his mind traveled 20 years into the past. The rain, the trembling hands, the umbrella, and her last words. Goodness never goes unrewarded. When the lawyer took him to see the property, Eric was stunned. A beautiful, vintage house in New York. A wide green garden. Tall pine trees. a wooden porch, birds singing. It all looked like a scene from a movie. All this is in my name. Yes, and you are the only heir. When Amy came to see the house, she screamed with joy. Sophia ran through the garden laughing. Lucia turned one room into an art studio. The entire house filled with warmth, life, and love. As the years passed, the house became the heart of their family. Yet Eric always wondered, why him? Why did Margaret choose him out of the entire world? One day, while cleaning a storage cabinet, he found an old envelope. On it was written, "For the young man with the umbrella, Eric." His hands trembled as he opened it. Inside was a letter. ***, dear Eric. That day in the rain, life had exhausted me. People walked past without even looking. But you stopped and treated me like a human being. Your umbrella didn't just shield my body, it saved my heart. That day, I decided that if anything of mine remained in this world, it would belong to you. You proved that goodness still lives in this world. This house, this garden, it is all for you. You deserve love. Margaret ***. Eric's eyes filled with tears. Outside, the rain began to fall again. He looked through the window. Sophia was running in the garden with a little colorful umbrella. And by the doorway hung the old umbrella, the umbrella that had changed his life forever. Eric smiled and whispered, "This isn't just an umbrella. It's a seed of kindness. And it's still bearing fruit."